Venom 3 recently revealed its first official logo, sparking laughter and curiosity among fans. This small piece of information has led to speculation about the film's villains and the possibility of Andrew Garfield making an appearance. Although these statements seem far-fetched, the official data about the film is sufficient to conjecture both the plot and the future developments of Tom Hardy's character. It appears that Venom 3 will be the last standalone movie about Eddie Brock, as confirmed by Sony Pictures and Tom Hardy. In November, details of Hardy's contract emerged, revealing it was only for 3 films. After the trilogy concludes on November 8th this year, Hardy will be free to negotiate his future. Given the actor's affection for Venom, fans hope for a long and successful tenure. However, considering the current state of Sony's Spider-Man universe, Hardy might have reservations that could potentially be resolved by his participation in Secret Wars or any crossover with Spider-Man. The question remains, what does Hardy want and what is more important to studio bosses? A couple of years ago, after the mediocre reviews of second Venom movie, it seemed unlikely that Kevin Feige would be interested in incorporating Sony's average creations into the MCU. However, things have changed since then. A significant indicator of this change was the official recognition of Netflix's Marvel shows as part of the main canon. While shows like Iron Fist, Luke Cage, and The Defenders may not have garnered widespread fan acclaim, they are now officially part of the MCU. This shift indicates that producers has lowered the entry barrier to the MCU, making room for Tom Hardy's Venom to fit in more comfortably. Notably, even the less successful sequel with Carnage grossed significantly more than some recent Marvel releases, including Ant-Man 3. The presence of Tom Hardy, a major box office draw, and the potential for a Sinister Six showdown with Tom Holland, which could generate substantial revenue, are significant factors. While discussions about the future are still speculative, theories about Venom appearing in next Avengers movies now seem more plausible. Marvel has lifted its taboo on collaborating with other studios, and if Venom 3 manages to reach the level of the first installment, a new contract for Hardy might be on the horizon. As for the threequel itself, little was known until recently when Sony presented the first official logo. What stands out is the simple number 3 in the background, unlike the sequel, which was titled Let There Be Carnage without a numerical designation, and other recent sequels like Captain Marvel 2 titled The Marvels. The explicit use of a number in Venom 3 breaks the trend. This decision isn't an oversight but a deliberate choice. In the comics, much is centered around symbiote lineages and generations. Venom was the first symbiote on Earth, Carnage is its offspring, and Toxin represents the 3rd generation in Venom's lineage. Hence, the number 3 in the logo, colored red to symbolize Toxin, who inherits colors from both predecessors, combines black and red as the 3rd generation symbiotes. From this perspective, the number 3 on the logo, which is prominently colored in black and red, is a significant detail. It's not hard to deduce that this color choice hints at Toxin. He, as per comic book lore, inherits characteristics from its 2 predecessors. Typically, Toxin is depicted with a red upper body and a black lower half. The logo for Venom 3 heavily suggests the inclusion of Toxin, with the number 3 serving as a dual reference to both the 3rd part of the series and the 3rd generation symbiote. This theory is further reinforced by the events at the end of Venom 2, where police officer Patrick Mulligan, the first host of Toxin in the comics, survives a near-death experience with glowing eyes, a clear nod to his transformation into Toxin. The inclusion of actor Stephen Graham in the cast of the 3rd movie further solidifies the speculations. Graham, known for his versatile acting skills, could bring a significant depth to the character of Patrick Mulligan. His confirmed participation in the film's cast adds an intriguing layer to the narrative possibilities. Given Graham's caliber as an actor, it's likely that his role as Patrick Mulligan will be substantial and nuanced. In the comics, he is a complex character, torn between his duty as a police officer and the chaotic influence of the symbiotic power. This internal conflict presents a rich ground for character development, especially in a film series known for exploring the symbiotic relationships between humans and alien entities. Stephen Graham's portrayal could offer a fresh perspective on the symbiote-host dynamics, differentiating Toxin from Venom. Mulligan's struggle with the symbiote, coupled with his inherent sense of justice, could lead to compelling narrative arcs, possibly exploring themes of morality, identity, and redemption. Tom Hardy, who has been involved in the writing process for the 3rd film, has demonstrated his understanding of the symbiote characters. The key difference between Carnage, Venom, and Toxin lies in their origins and character development. While Carnage attached himself to a madman and inherited his insanity, and Venom formed his personality independently after maturing, Toxin grew up attached to the honest cope, thus inheriting his sense of justice. This difference in upbringing makes Toxin unique, leading to a conflict with both its parent Carnage and grandparent Venom. Eventually, with Spider-Man's help, he embarks on a journey to fight crime, closely bonded with Mulligan. In the comics, the relationship between Toxin and Mulligan is akin to that between Eddie Brock and Venom in the second movie, marked by honest discussions and compromises. Toxin, being a third-generation symbiote, is more powerful than Venom and Carnage combined, possessing both their abilities and some unique ones like being an excellent detective. This strength makes Toxin a target for villains and a subject of interest for heroes and scientists alike. The main storyline of Venom 3 is likely to revolve around these aspects of Toxin. It seems improbable that Sony would deviate drastically from the comic book portrayal of Toxin as a straightforward villain, especially since audiences might be weary of repetitive symbiote battles. Therefore, third Venom might focus more on the complexity of Toxin's character, exploring themes of power, identity, and the fine line between heroism and vigilantism. The narrative fatigue from final symbiote battles was already apparent in a sequel, and for Venom 3, it's clear that a different approach is needed. The main antagonist in the upcoming film should ideally be a human or, at the very least, a different kind of alien. There are rumors that the working title of a threequel was Orwell, referring to a character named Orwell Taylor, who leads a task force hunting Venom. He formed a team of super soldiers named Jury. This team consists of both symbiotes and earthly technologies, possibly including some from Stark Industries. In this storyline, Taylor's hatred for Venom stems from the symbiote's role in his son's death. However, in movies, this can be adapted to show the collateral damage caused by Tom Hardy's character over 2 films, potentially exploring themes similar to those in Captain America: Civil War. But there remain some major questions: the role of Spider-Man and the overall tone of the film. The post-credit scenes, where Tom Hardy's character learns Spider-Man's identity and then seemingly returns to his own universe, suggests a logical continuation would be Venom searching for Peter Parker in his world. This could lead to an encounter with a down-and-out Andrew Garfield Spider-Man mourning Gwen Stacy. Some even speculate that the red color on the Venom 3 poster hints at colors of Spidey. However, this theory is met with skepticism, mainly because the involvement of Parker would significantly increase the film's promotional and box office potential, prompting Sony to market it more widely. Remember how Sony started teasing audiences with leaks and hints 2 years before the release of No Way Home? With less than a year to go before the release of Venom 3, we haven't seen anything similar, suggesting that Sony's marketing team understands the hype that Andrew Garfield's involvement would generate. The lack of such marketing efforts so far might indicate that Spider-Man is not in the film. In summary, while the inclusion of Spider-Man could be a fascinating plot development, the current evidence and Sony's marketing strategy suggest it's unlikely. Instead, the film seems poised to explore new narrative directions, potentially focusing on human or different alien antagonists and moving away from the repetitive symbiote battles of the past installments. Subscribe.